Stop asking the prospect how they're doing at the beginning of a cold call or the beginning of a prospecting phone call. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through why that's hurting you and what you should do instead. So if you haven't done so already, one of the first things I recommend you doing right after this video is going to get the book by Jeb Blount called Fanatical Prospecting. You can get it on Amazon. Now, I'm going to read to you what Jeb talks about as it relates to asking the prospect how they're doing to opening up an outbound prospecting phone call. Here's what he says. He says, the reason we don't do this is the following. When you interrupt a prospect's day, you're going to get resistance. The resistance hits a peak as soon as they realize that you are a salesperson and that they made a huge mistake answering the phone. The realization happens right after they say something like, "Hi, this is Steven from XYZ company. How are you today?" Then you pause. That's when the prospect's instinct to get off the phone and back to whatever they were doing kicks in immediately. They immediately hit you with a reflex response like, "I'm not interested. Why are you calling? Who is this?" Your prospect was going about their morning happily when she heard her phone ring and interrupted her day. She then realized her mistake as soon as you said, "How are you doing today?" Suddenly, her get away from this salesperson fast mechanism kicked in. As soon as you paused, she hit you with a stern objection in a stern voice. That's how the prospect is doing this morning, and you immediately lose control of the phone call. You see, when you're making outbound prospecting phone calls, it's very often that you're going to get resistance. It's the same thing that happens when you walk into a store. As soon as you walk into the store, the salesperson or the person sitting at the front desk says, "Hey, can I help you find anything?" And what do you say every single time? "Oh yeah, that's right." You respond with, "No, I'm just looking." As though you are so bored and you have nothing going on in your life that you decided to get dressed, drive to the store just to look. No, that's not the case. You went there for a specific reason, but just like prospects over the phone, they're giving you a reflex no the same way you do as you walk into a department store. So because you're going to get resistance when you make outbound prospecting calls, because here's the reality. You and I have to make peace with when we make an outbound prospecting call, almost all of the time, they're not anticipating the call. You are absolutely interrupting their day. We've got to get over that. So we only have a small window to make an impact on that prospecting call. When you say, "How are you doing?" all that does is increase the resistance that the prospect has when you are already interrupting their day. Here's what you should do instead. Number one, as soon as the prospect answers the phone, all you want to do is say their first name with an upswing. So if the prospect's name is Jennifer and a woman answers the phone and she says, "Hello," all you want to do is say Jennifer with an upswing, posing a question or curiosity. Now, why do we do that? Go back to when you were in school. And maybe you are working on a project and the teacher yells out your name, "Brandon." You look right up. Why? Well, because to you and I, our first name is the most beautiful word in the entire English language. So when we hear it, it automatically piques our curiosity. Number two, you want to get into immediately the reason you're calling. And when you get into the reason why you're calling, you have to add value. So as an example, you could simply, let's just pretend you're calling an absentee owner, you're a real estate agent, and you're gonna call an absentee owner. And the prospect picks up the phone and they say, "Hello." You say, "Bob?" "Yeah, who's this?" "This is Brandon with Brookstone Realtors, and I'm calling because values in the area are at all-time highs and I was calling about this property over here on Main Street. Do you still own the home by chance? Well, that brings me right into number 3. The third thing you want to do when you open up a cold call or opening up an outbound prospecting phone call is get into exactly what you want and ask for it with absolute confidence. So in this example, when I'm calling the absentee owner and I say, I was curious if you own this property, and they say, yeah, why? What's going on? And then I would respond with, well, the values right here in this neighborhood are at all-time highs. And I'm curious if you had any potential plans on selling that property here in the near future. Now, I'm going to add in the value of property values in this area. I'm calling an absentee owner, which if you've been following me for a while, is a targeted, specific listing lead source where we already know the likelihood of them wanting to sell this property either now or in the future is already high. So now we call them, we tell them why we're calling, we provide value, we tell them that property values are high, we're playing off their motivation that they most likely want to sell anyways, and we're asking them, here we are, like a knight in shining armor, here we are asking them if they want to sell this property that they already had thoughts of selling. It almost puts together like this perfect storm for them. So what we're looking to do at this point is either A, identify a need, right? The prospect says, you know what? Yeah, I actually am thinking about selling that property. Ding, ding, ding. Isn't that what we're all looking for when we make outbound prospecting phone calls? Certainly. Or 2, which is perfectly okay, listen closely, we want to draw out the objections, the actual objections. You see, when you use how are you doing today at the beginning of the phone call, you're responding and you're using your energy and the prospect's energy on the wrong thing. So when you get right into part 3 and asking for what you want, now you can identify, does the prospect have a need for what it is that I've asked them? Or do they have an objection that pertains specifically to what it is that I asked for? As an example, when I ask the absentee owner, hey, are you considering selling this property either now or in the future? Now their objection may be, you know, not right now. It's not something that we're looking at anytime soon, or it's rented right now. We can't do anything right now. Okay, well, you and I both can agree that we can work with that. That's a lot easier to work with versus calling the absentee owner, asking them how they're doing, and then automatically reflex resistance and come out and say, I'm not interested. That's very difficult. That is an uphill battle to climb when you need to respond that way when you open up the prospecting call with, how are you doing today? So if you're a real estate agent and you're watching this video, you believe in outbound prospecting and you want to learn how to effectively prospect using my reverse selling system, I put a link right underneath this video. Feel free to click it. We can jump on a call. We can talk about coaching together. I'll walk you through exactly how my coaching program works, exactly what you'll learn, what's included, how it all works. And then you and I can decide if working together makes any sense or not. So that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you got value, make sure you subscribe to the channel and let me know what questions you had about today's video in the comments section beneath this video. And I'll see you guys in another video very, very soon. Thank you guys so much for watching.